Best perennials that offer long bloom periods. Come July, garden phlox, Phlox paniculata, is a staple of the garden. This long-blooming perennial flowers from midsummer well into the fall, but it can be susceptible to powdery mildew, a fungal disease that can be disfiguring although it rarely causes serious damage. However, newer cultivars, such as the White David, are mildew-resistant, with foliage that stays nice and healthy looking all summer. Phlox does best in mild summer temperatures in a location that gets good air circulation. Deadhead spent flowers to prevent rampant self-seeding. Stella de Oro Daylily, Hemerocalis. Stella de Oro is one of more than 50,000 hybrid daylilies created by crossing selected species within the Hemerocalis genus. Stella de Oro is a compact plant 9 to 12 inches tall, known for its very long bloom period, May through July, although individual blooms last for only one day. Stella de Oro requires little care, but it can be divided whenever wanted to propagate new plants. A related cultivar, black-eyed Stella, is similar in color but is slightly taller with a burgundy center in the blooms. The various species within the Buddleia genus are perennials or deciduous shrubs, some of which die back to ground level in colder climates before resprouting in spring. Those sold commercially as landscape plants are generally hybrids and cultivars of selected species, especially B. David E., and these do not have the same bad reputation for invasiveness as the species forms. Butterfly bush typically blooms from June through September. Like daisies, it is easy to underrate this popular, long-blooming perennial simply because it is so common, but there is often a good reason why a plant achieves widespread popularity. Garden snobs may cling to their hard-to-grow novelties, but it takes true maturity as a gardener to give a plant such as Rudbeckia hirta its due. Until recently, this plant was included in the Sedum genus, but it is now categorized as Hylotolephium herbstfreude. The literal translation of that German cultivar name is autumn joy, and that's how most of us refer to this plant. It blooms in late summer, with flowers that gradually darken over several weeks to rust red or purple by fall. Various cultivars offer different flower and foliage colors. Do not confuse catnip, the herb famous for driving felines into a frenzy, with catmint. While both are forms of mint Nepeta, they are different species. Catmint is Nepeta racemosa, a plant valued for landscape uses, while catnip is Nepeta cateria, grown only for the novelty of its effect on cats. Many species and cultivars of Speedwell exist, including creeping types. But for a good long blooming form, try Veronica spicata, especially the Royal Candles cultivar. It produces spikes of blue flowers on plants growing 9 to 12 inches tall and blooms from June through August. Other cultivars grow as high as 3 feet. The key to extending the flowering season of Royal Candles is regular shearing. Few plants are named more accurately, as the flowers of red-hot poker, Nephophia uvaria, match the name precisely. The typical red-hot poker, sometimes called torch lily, grows 3 or 4 feet tall with red and yellow flowers, but a number of hybrids and cultivars are available offering different heights and flower colors. Especially popular are varieties from the popsicle series, specifically mango popsicle, pineapple popsicle, and red hot popsicle, all of which produce flowers from late spring to midsummer on plants that grow 1 to 2 feet in height. Spent flower heads should be removed immediately, but no division of clumps is necessary. The Campanula genus is a very large one with more than 500 species of annuals and perennials. A very good long-blooming perennial species in this genus is Campanula portenschlagiana, commonly called the Dalmatian Bellflower. It is a low, mat-forming plant that blooms for 2 solid months in late spring and early summer. It is a good plant for edging, ground cover, or for trailing over walls. Under ideal conditions, the plant can spread readily, but it is not too hard to control. Divide plants every 3 to 4 years to keep clumps vigorous. Fringed bleeding heart Dicentra exemia is one of the best long-blooming perennials for shade gardens. It will flower for some 3 months during the growing season, late spring through late summer in Zone 5. If you travel back through the mists of history, you will find that daisy was once spelled day's eye, a metaphor for the sun, and very much reflective of the ambiance created by this plant. It is difficult to contemplate a daisy and not come away with a sunny outlook on life. But this classic flower is more than just eye candy. Becky Shasta daisies, Leucanthemum times superbum, Becky, are among the best of the Shasta daisy cultivars. They are tough plants, displaying resilience and endurance which belie their delicate appearance. They bloom from July through September on plants that can grow 3 to 4 feet in height. Salvia is a large genus of plants that include both annual Salvia splendens and perennial Salvia numerosa, etc. species. The best perennial forms for long-lasting blooms include: for a tall plant, Russian sage Perovskia triplicifolia has rather small blossoms. But what it lacks in bloom size, it makes up for in bloom numbers, creating an attractive wispy look in the garden. This long-blooming perennial is showy, but in the most tasteful way possible. Plants grow to 5 feet in height, though they may sprawl. They bloom from July through October. Yarrow, Achillea millefolium, is an herb plant that blooms all summer, June through September, on stems growing 2 to 3 feet in height. The species form has clusters of white flowers, but cultivars are available that offer flowers in many colors. Yarrow plants were widely used medicinally prior to modern times to staunch the flow of blood. In fact, the medicinal use for yarrow is responsible for the plant's scientific name, Achillea. Today, most of us are more interested in the beauty and low maintenance of yarrow than in its herbal use. Divide the plants every 3 to 5 years. Deadheading spent flowers will lengthen the bloom period. Lavender-scented linens, sachets, and potpourris provide a nice touch in a home and are ridiculously easy to acquire. But even people with no interest in such domesticity grow lavender plants, since they bring a touch of class to the landscape, too. English lavender, Lavandula angustifolia, blooms from June through August on plants that grow 2 to 3 feet in height. Where a low-lying, long-blooming perennial is called for, ice plant Delosperma cooperi is a good choice, both for its vivid flowers and unusual leaves. Growing only 3 to 6 inches high, it blooms from June through September. It is a borderline plant north of Zone 6 but may survive in Zone 5 if covered with mulch through the winter. Other than this, little maintenance is required. A number of species in the Echinacea genus and their cultivars and hybrids go by the name of coneflower, and many of those sold commercially are cultivars or hybrids of selected species, especially E. purpurea, purple coneflower. Coneflowers typically bloom from June through August on plants that grow 2 to 5 feet in height. They will benefit from division every 4 years or so but are otherwise very low maintenance. The various cultivars of the Coreopsis verticillata species are generally known as threadleaf or fernleaf coreopsis. They produce small, daisy-like yellow flowers on 2 to 3 foot high plants with delicately textured foliage. Popular cultivars include Moonbeam, Zagreb, and Grandiflora, all of which are somewhat more compact, bushier plants. Threadleaf coreopsis can be stimulated into a second fall flush of flowers if the plants are sheared back in late summer after the first period of flowering is done. Other than this, they require little maintenance. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more interesting videos. And please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm.